Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Airsofter Show, your fortnightly airsoft podcast interviewing retailers, manufacturers, sites and personalities in the UK and beyond for this evening. If you want to get in touch with the show, you can contact us facebook.com/the Airsofter Show, Instagram @the Airsofter Show, or email Andy at theairsoftershow.co.uk. Thank you very much for tuning in as people start joining now. Joining us this week, we have Rob from Airsofter.World. Good evening, Rob.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Good evening. How are we?
We're doing good. I'm looking forward to this evening.
Good. That's what I like to hear. So, without further ado, if you could just quickly do sort of a brief, sort of 1 minute introduction to yourself, who you are, how you got into Airsoft.
Why do people always ask me to do that in 1 minute? That is really difficult. Okay, I started airsofting in 2006. I've been organizing events. I've been doing all kinds of stuff. So I've been doing it for a real long time. I like playing international games, big games, small games. It really doesn't matter. And I like to bring communities together with everything that I can do to help the game Airsoft grow, actually. And that is what I want to keep doing as long as I play. That was less than a minute, but
that's fine. That's just a brief introduction to yourself. Good evening to everyone just tuning in now as well. Before we go into things, news and discussion. There isn't really a lot we can really discuss this week because it's been rather a, shall we say, spicy week. By the way, for everyone just tuning in as well, Adam will be joining us later on in the episode, so we're just waiting for him to sort his life out. So I suppose really we should start with sort of the positives that we had last weekend and the not so positives. So basically all the Airsofter team went to Manchester. Keith organised it. We played at Anzio Camp in Leek, which is southeast of Manchester, I believe.
Yeah.
And then we played at Level 2, who were on the podcast 2 weeks ago when we last went live. Anzio had its issues, shall we say. We, to be fair to them, we have put up reviews of the site and they have responded that they are investigating the issues that happened. So just to put some of it into context, we turned up to the game zone. Luckily, because we were in convoy travelling, we had communications between the cars. So I could warn Keith that there was a dog underneath the wheels of his car that he was about to run over that was running around in the safe zone.
Yeah.
We were then guided to the overflow car park because the main one was full. Okay, fair enough. It was a busy day. It was to be expected that we'd have to park somewhere else. This was then greeted with, you need to have your eye protection on, you're in the game zone, which the eye protection is in the boot of our cars at this point. And no one had warned us before we drove up there.
We didn't think we'd need it either because the Marshal didn't have iPro on. They just had glasses.
The Marshal didn't have iPro on, but then was like, you need to have your eye protection on because you're in the game zone now, which was odd. And then there was just several issues throughout the day, really, that didn't help matters with the way the games flowed. So you go out into one game, we cleared the building, we're like, where's the objectives that we need to be fighting for? They hadn't even put the objectives into place yet.
Nightmare.
And it sort of set the tone when we turned up, and the owner of the site sort of goes, if I didn't have to do the safety brief, I wouldn't this morning because I'm hungover as fuck. So my marshals are running the show today. I'm going to be in the caravan in the safe zone.
And it was new too. Yeah, it was bad. Give me 2 seconds. That's the child is screaming again. Sorry.
That's cool. So, really and truthfully, that was sort of the start of the day. So it's already set a bad impression, really. The games were okay. They played to the site. The site itself is a fantastic site. It's an old RAF base, so it's a mixture of woodland and buildings dotted throughout this woodland where it's just been left to overgrow for years and years and years. So it's a really good site. You know, we were going through windows. Ailey was trying to get through windows. And there was one game where it was sort of like everyone was just fighting over a big open field, so no one could push because no one would try to get closer because they knew that the minute you started ranging the enemy team, they could range you as well. So it's sort of like Adam's just joined as well. So yeah, it was. Hey Adam.
Good evening.
You owe Rob a
Good
drink
evening.
for being late.
Yeah.
So we're just talking about Anzio and sort of like how just generally disorganised it was, and Keith, bless him, had said what a good day it would be, and it was almost embarrassing for him. He was saying because he'd recommended the site to us, and he was saying how good it was, and the site itself I can't fault. To be fair, the actual game zone cannot be faulted. It was just organisation. We did put reviews up, and they did actually respond to sort of say that they are investigating the concerns that we had and the issues that we raised on the day or about the day. And the actual owner of First and Only is looking into these issues. So we'll be interested to see Dan here saying we're not the first set of people to say it's a great site, but shit management. I mean, it doesn't help matters as well with things like you've got a 15 FPS difference between the two chronos that they use.
Yeah.
And their site limits are already lower than a lot of sites anyway in the UK. So you run the risk of potentially being all right on one chrono, and then they say, "Oh, we want to chrono you again, do it on a different one," and then you're actually out of site limits, and I was told by a local that it's actually got the nickname Banzio because the amount of people that have been sent home and just told, "No, you're not coming back" from the day. So fingers crossed that will improve. I hope to go back. Down here, it's a truly first and only visit.
Is it always the same organizer like that runs the show, or is it like just one site?
It's the same site. People that run the site each time, but yeah, it's. I mean, it was a fairly new team that are on the site apparently, so they don't necessarily know. I mean, me and Adam even had to shout at one group of people that they had mags in the safe zone. They're newer players. They're not necessarily going to know any better because there were no marshals checking the guns as they came out. But marshals, they were literally opposite where all the marshals were talking between games. So the marshals could have dealt with it easily, but they didn't. Yeah. So it was like me and Adam were literally screaming at these guys because they weren't listening at first. We're like, "Get your fucking mags out." And then AD saying here, one marshal couldn't even tell her which direction spawn was in. Yep, that happened as well. Carlo, boy oh boy, are we getting to that? We're coming to that one in a minute. Level 2 though, level 2 was fucking amazing day.
Oh.
So level 2, I think did you watch the episode a couple of weeks ago, Rob, where we spoke to the guys?
Yeah. I listened to it in the car.
So. Yeah, it lived up to the hype. They had a nuke town.
Thankfully.
They had a nuke town built in there with upstairs windows as well. And Keith obviously just dropped off. Yeah, so they had the upstairs windows, and all you could hear was me going, "I fucking love this building." And I was stood in a window, and you could get nice angles through some of the vehicles that they'd got mocked up and stuff as well. So it just, it was just awesome fun.
So when I come to UK, that is one of the sites that I have to visit.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's unanimous.
All right, I'll put it on the list.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and when you go, let us know because we'll come and join you.
100%.
Perfect.
In fact, I've got a big shout out to give to level 2. So, Adam, if you just carry on talking about the site a sec, I will be back.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that blew me away is like I've been to a lot of different sites, a lot of different sort of CQB sites, this, that, and the other. The layout was just amazing. You just never got bogged down. So there was always a way that you could push out of your spawn and you weren't, I can't move on because they're there. You could go, okay, well, I'm going to go this way and then just completely flank them. And then it's just things like the props that they were using in the games, like the time and effort, and it's not like a piece of wood that's been painted and this is a bomb or this is whatever. These are proper machined electrical things, and they just look amazing.
The props were probably the best props I've ever seen at an airsoft site.
100%.
They were that good. The shaky bomb was as evil as they'd said it was. So we made it so only Keith could carry the shaky bomb.
That's nice. It's nice to hear that.
Yeah.
Sites live up.
It was literally just 4 hours of utter carnage. You have sort of 15, 20-minute game, 5-minute break, back in. And then they did 10-minute break for lunch. So if you had something, you could quickly grab a chocolate bar or whatever, because you're not really in there long enough to need a full lunch.
Well, 4 hours is no.
Yeah, exactly. But I was drenched by the end of it. I was just sweating like there was no tomorrow. By the end of that 4 hours, you just constantly bang,
and just
bang,
manic
bang,
giggling.
Yeah, and the Scottish Pandas. All you could hear for one bit was just Joe giggling away to himself.
That sounds like a good day.
Yeah, I'm going to give Level 2 a shout out as well, because I turned up at site and I was presented with this nice little envelope. And this isn't anything I've ever asked for. This isn't anything I've ever expected. But they'd actually given me a nice little key ring. And they did me a thank you card with a game voucher as well. So I got a nice little thank you card from them for having them on the podcast 2 weeks ago. And I was like, that's amazing. Like that, just that little touch as well.
Yeah.
I never have anyone on the show to give me stuff at the end of the day. That's not what I'm about. Anyone who's known the show more than 5 minutes will know.
I'm not giving you stuff.
No, that's cool. I don't. Give me your website.
I'll do that.
No, but no, it's like literally, I was just so happy to get that, and I was so humbled. Like it was actually quite emotional to get something.
Yeah,
and then
really cool.
I had to buy the patches as well. So the tap tap pause rule, they've got a tap tap bitch patch.
I wish I'd have got one of them actually. I bought the normal level 2 ones.
Well, yeah, I've got one of them as well. It's one of those sites I'd definitely go back to 100%. I don't care that it's 4 hours away. Like, I'll just make a weekend of it. Even if I have to play that site over the weekend twice kind of thing, I'd happily do that.
Oh, I'd do it Saturday and Sunday without a doubt.
I mean, we were aching after Saturday at Anzio. Like, our legs were just on fire because it was literally uphill, downhill, through window, up staircase, down staircase all day.
You feel that the day after.
Yeah, 100%. And especially like kneeling down. Like, I need the knee pads in future because my knees are still bruised now from it.
I can really advise you just get worker pants, and then you get the soft knee pads that go in them. For CQB, they are the best. They are cheap and they're super good. I love them.
100%. Yeah.
I want to know who Bionic Squint is on YouTube.
Yeah, Bionic Squint.
Somebody knows that I shot Alien in the back.
I feel like that's going to be someone from the group chat, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
And that was another thing as well. I'm now part of the Gunfighter Tactical team as of last weekend, thanks to the guys.
Ooh.
So after years and years and years of not being in the team after the last one and telling myself I'd never do it again, here I am.
He has joined us.
Yeah, so that was our weekend. And then we got home and Monday happened. And the story from... no, it's not, Ailey. Oh, Bionic Squint, there you go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, cool. Oh, nice.
But yeah, Monday happened, and then we started hearing the stories about the other events. So last weekend you also had AI 500 going on at a shopping centre in Wales. And then you had what's the other one? Oh, Gangster City happened down at Gloucester Prison. And some of the horror stories we've been hearing about these events that have been coming out. I was basically, this is not what the community's about, and people just need to get better. Is the only way I can say it. So, shall we start with Gangster City?
We've got to start somewhere, haven't we?
Yeah. From what I heard, generally speaking, it was a good weekend, like gameplay wise and that. But there were a few things that came out that let it down. So, someone had decided to hang a sex doll upside down in the site with red blood smeared all over the crotch of it. And when someone sort of said that he was like, why is that allowed? That's like offensive. He was just called a snowflake. And apparently the marshals were just laughing and joking, saying, oh, such and such has had a go on this one then, or something like that. And then there was the accidental, they call it, anti-Semitism, where I don't know how to feel about this one because I reckon someone just couldn't count. But it was meant to be a pentagram in a circle, and someone had put a Star of David and put "Welcome to Hell."
I feel like that one was a genuine mistake.
I'd hope that was a genuine mistake.
Yes.
Otherwise, someone needs kicking. But even so, for an event that a lot of people have played and a lot of people rave about, it doesn't look good on the organisers that this shit hasn't been jumped on and that it's not been brought off the internet and they've not come out to speak up against it either. That's the main thing for me. I haven't seen anything come out from the organisers against what happened.
Yeah, they've not sort of spoken out for themselves, have they?
Yeah. And by all accounts, the banner was made by the organisers with the Star of David on it. So I would have liked to see something from them, really.
Just some sort of a statement, or
we'd hope that it was accidental, but until you say that it was a genuine mistake and you take ownership for that,
like I had a discussion a few weeks ago about how politics and stuff like that is sipping into our airsoft games, and what we can do to keep away from it, and how we can do that. And there is a fine line what people think that is allowed, and there is actually not a rule book. There is nothing written. Everybody has his own line that he doesn't want to cross, and that makes it very difficult at some places, some countries, and especially with Airsoft.World, that came very clear that it is not the same in every part of the world. But if we want to work together and we want to keep Airsoft as a non-political game where we can stay away from all other things and we just play a game, then we need to accept that we have to stay away from all those things.
Yeah.
But what is the line? Like World War II games, can they still have like flags? Can they have something that goes to like the German side? Even if you have games that go Russia between another country, can you have the Russian flags in there?
Yeah,
it is a very very difficult discussion, and with this it comes back up, and we had a discussion with different countries about this, and it was a very like humble discussion because it was about Ukrainian war, and there was a Czech group that was called the Wagner Group as a team, but they had that team for 5 years, and if you want to go back, what you do with it, that is very difficult to answer, and nobody had a real answer. We all have our own lines that we don't want to cross, but if somebody else takes offense of it, that makes it difficult, especially in the day we live today, is that everything is offensive, and it is a very difficult thing to talk about. But I think we need to talk about it as a community, and not only in a country, but around the world.
I mean, you mentioned the World War II era airsoft, especially now that's sort of becoming a big thing in the UK as well. You've got, I think it's Frontline Events do a lot of World War II, if not all World War II. At the end of the day, a uniform could just be a uniform. As long as you take any potentially offensive insignias off of that uniform, yes, you're losing that historical accuracy, but
that's the thing. What is offensive?
Well, this is it.
I think that's where the grey area is, isn't it?
Yeah, this is where the grey area, as Adam says, this is where the grey area is. It's always offensive. We all know, say the swastika isn't a great symbol, albeit from what Leah has been saying over in the States at the moment about the 2A community, it seems to be accepted over there now. If you've been following all of that.
Yeah, I did. The thing is with swastika, it's just illegal to wear.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to wear it. That is an easy one.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
you have so many different symbols, and those groups that use it for that hate speech, they know those symbols, and it's the reason why you use those symbols. And if you have a picture of a World War II game that is historically correct, it's the same as you do a reenactment. It's just a different way of doing it. But reenactment has rules about that, and that is only about the symbols that are illegal to do. But there are so many symbols. You can go to Israeli, I know I have a friend that does IDF forces, and those have like the big balloons on their head. It can be offensive for anybody. If you do another game, it's offensive for somebody else, and that's very difficult.
Yeah,
Daniel's come up with a good point on that.
We'll throw this one up because he said, at the end of the day, it is how you feel about something as well. You know, we could say something that we find offensive, but you might think is perfectly acceptable, for example, or the other way around. We could say something that we think is, you know, it's that thing of one man's banter is someone else's offence, or someone else's harassment, or someone else's misogyny. As Ailey said as well, going back to the sex doll thing as well, for the people that say there is no misogyny in Airsoft, they're absolutely wrong, and shit like that proves it.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, you've probably witnessed it as well with your partner, Rob, playing at games. How many people start sort of, oh, look, there's a woman at Airsoft kind of thing?
That is actually quite all right. I don't know. I'm not going to talk for her. She can answer 100%. That question for herself. But me, myself, I don't see it that much. Like, she has always been there. She's been playing for 16 years now. So she was there when there were no women in Airsoft at all. So she was always one of the guys. And I can understand that some sites were like, "Ooh, look, a girl." We all did. If there is a girl passing by, and everybody looks, I also look. Lisa looks. So, but it's also the same if a handsome man passes by, we also look and we say, "That's a handsome man." It doesn't mean anything, but I can understand that for some people it is very difficult.
It's how you act upon that.
Exactly. You don't drool. You just act like if something. It's a very difficult discussion. But for Lisa, it was. It's okay. Is it because she's always around people that come from a different Airsoft era, if I can say that is built on respect for each other? And I feel that in the newer generation, that respect goes away or is lacking in a lot of cases.
If it exists in the first place.
Yeah, this could be it as well, because you're talking about a different era in Airsoft where
exactly.
Airsoft wasn't as popular as it is now, and it was very much, I mean, especially in the UK, as Adam will tell you, from way back when, it was very much sort of like a taboo. It was an underground sort of thing almost.
Yeah. You don't mention it.
Yeah. First rule of Airsoft, don't talk about Airsoft.
But it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing it more and more now. As well, like at sites, you can tell the people. You look around in a safe zone, and you can tell, for want of a better term, the thirsty man-child.
You can almost see him sort of elbowing each other.
Yeah.
Look, there's a girl over there, sort of thing. Or
and then you get the groups like us who are just like, oh well.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. So that was one event anyway. So that all happened there. There was a lot more reviews about it online and articles and stuff. And I'm sure you'll see more and more in the coming weeks. At the end of the day, as Ailey said in the comments as well, an apology would be a start from the organisers.
Yeah, 100%.
For these things, and take a bit of ownership for what happened, and go, look, this happened. We fucked up. We didn't deal with it appropriately. this is what we're putting in place to prevent these things happening again.
Yeah, if something happens and something didn't go as it was meant to be, just react to it. That's the least you can do, and make sure that stuff like that doesn't happen, and communicate with the people. Don't say like, you can't do that, but that is one thing. But there are so many things that are in the same line, and then you have that difficult discussion again, like, where is the line? What people can do and what they can't, because everybody's there to have a good time, and the respect for other people is lacking.
Yeah, 100%. And then we get to AI 500, where basically we've spoken about AI before, especially with the oh, hang on, who did that? I didn't send that.
I think that's somebody on the account.
That's someone on our account anyway. That
should have been on
me.
that personal account.
Yeah, it's all right because we've got the shared account now. But yeah, I was just really confused if I didn't send a message to myself. So yeah, AI 500. Here we go again, as Graham says. So I had someone message me with one story. I've spoken to another guy who had another story about the way the games were run on the day and everything. But basically, the long and the short of it is Airsoft International needs to take a step back for a while and just not run events, because every event they seem to be running these days, something happens that fucks it up. We had it at Dover, the second one. The first one was okay, but the weather let that down a lot. The second Dover event, they were outnumbered by 40 players. So one team was 40 players down on the other at least before the weekend even started. So they couldn't get out of their spawn, and the organisers did nothing to do it, because as soon as you try to move, there's 40, 50 people on top of you already, like over your numbers, so you couldn't move.
And then when you try and complain about it, it's the player's fault.
Yeah, well, this is what happened. So the last one they ran at Rochdale Shopping Centre, which is just down the road from Keith, and he said don't go because it's such a small site. They had a gas leak where the site wasn't evacuated. They were just told to stay in place while the staff dealt with it, rather than evacuating the site, especially when there's pyrotechnics involved. If someone had accidentally dropped a TRMR, that could be a gas main exploding. And then this time, people wanted to go, and they were refusing to let people off the site because it would interrupt the gameplay, apparently. So they wouldn't let people off site. Now, AI, to their credit this time, were actually very quiet on social media. But that's because nothing seemed to be on social media this time. Whether or not it's gone to Discord, I know they were toying with the idea of a Discord channel, so whether it's all on there this time, I don't know. But there was a lot of problems at all the events, and they don't seem to be learning. And I mean, they didn't set out for once this time.
It just feels like a bit of a cash grab at this point.
Yeah. Well, you think he charges what, £100?
Yeah, something like that, isn't it?
It's something that we see in more fields, that if the fields are filled, they don't care anymore, because it's their job to do stuff. I don't know if that's the case in that thing, but I see it in more organizers that just like, well, we did our part and now we can cash in, and we don't really have to care about all the stuff. We don't have to make the games. We don't have to involve in the gameplay. We don't have to steer the games anymore. The players can do whatever they want.
You're pretty much describing AI 500 right there.
Yeah, I mean they did also say, to be fair as well, some of the guys sort of said that 2 or 3 of the marshals were actively trying to resolve the issues. But I mean, there was even the police turned up, and and then there was a photo going around of the police, no iPro on, pissing around with riffs and shooting riffs, and then the people behind them, one of whom I believe was one of the organisers of AI 500 and one of the owners of AI, didn't have any proper eye protection on in these images. Neither did whoever was with him. So it's like, it doesn't reflect well on an event.
No, but that's also players. Like if there is if police is coming in, you just stop, and
yeah,
that is actually, it's not the organizer's fault that players kept playing. If police joins in,
oh no,
player,
the players weren't playing. They just said, "Yeah, have a go at these," and gave them to the police on somewhere else. And like, it's like, at least set a good example, especially if you know that these images are going to make it on the internet,
and they are,
and they are on the internet. You know, at the end of the day.
And they're just getting ripped to pieces as a result of it.
Joe saying, want to know how to create a successful event, make it about the players. And that's where events such as Man Down's Operation Stigma work, because it was about the players and about the community rather than let's just get as much money as we can.
But that's hard work. It is not easy making good events.
No. Yeah. No, it's definitely not. You know, having a game of Airsoft at our event at Stigma was a happy byproduct, but essentially the weekend was for the players, for sort of the mental health charity, and
this is it. There's again, no, it's about AI 500. There's been a lot of complaints and a lot of things going around on the internet, and they don't own it again. As Adam said before at the last event, when all the issues from that weekend came out in Rochdale, it just went, oh, it's down to the players. If you played by the rules, if you did this, if you did that. No, if you're running an event, you take the responsibility for it goes wrong, even if it is the player's fault. You take that ownership of what you've done and go, okay, yeah, we fucked up on this one. This is what we're going to do to improve it in the future, and take that ownership and just get better.
It is a company, right?
So it's AI 500 is run by Airsoft International magazine.
Yeah, the magazine,
yeah. So, and I mean, if they've got another take on this, and the other organisers, the other event we've discussed as well, if you have got a take on this and you want to come on here and say your piece, message me. I've told you how to get in touch with me. It's easy enough to find me on social media. Come on here and explain your story, give your side of the story, and explain your situation and why these things are being allowed to seemingly happen, and what you're putting in place to stop it at the end of the day.
I think it's also the player. They have to keep the organizers accountable for what they do. And the problem is that as long as they have players, they don't really have to listen to the people that...
Because people will still keep coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've just got one question come up on a slight side topic now, because I think we've pretty much done these events to death. Just before we get into the nitty-gritty of Airsofter.World, Rob, it's been a bit of a long haul. Just bear with us for one more minute.
I can live with this.
Carl Doncaster. I had put this in before. I'd seen this before, Carl, but I never got around to putting it in because we were mid-flow. So what do you guys think about influencers or YouTubers being paid to give product reviews? Do you think they can still give an honest opinion if they're earning an income from it?
So that's about the Norwich gun that has been going around, probably.
I would have thought so, yeah, because I noticed that as well. Just when we thought we could escape from the drama, here we go again.
Wading back in.
My thing with this, I think we've discussed it before. Joe's hit the nail on the head there, mate. They must be allowed to maintain an unbiased review. If they're getting paid, they need to be paid for the review, yes, but at the end of the day, they should be able to say what they feel about the gun. If it's no good, you don't want to be going and giving it to players. And my personal thing is, if I was designing a riff and someone, I'd gave it to Rob and said, there you go, review that. I'll pay you for your time for the review, but let me know what you think. And then if you came back and said, honestly, it's crap, we go, okay, well, what can we do to improve this? Tell us what we can do from yourself as a player to improve this product.
it is actually something that I have encountered with, because I've been working with ICS for 6 years now, and I get my rifles for free. ICS sends them to me, and I test them, and I make reviews about it. Well, I don't make reviews, and that is a big misconception. Like, you have reviews and you have overviews, and overviews are just, you go over the gun, and that's the thing that's online and everybody reads about it, but you just mention it. Reviews are a lot of work. You have to put time and effort in it. If somebody just plays with it, that's not a review. That's just some gameplay footage, and he can give his opinion. And I get my rifles for free. Am I getting paid for that? Does it mean that I don't give my honest opinion? No. I help ICS make their rifles better. And if that means that their rifle is crap, I tell them that. And I will not make a video about this is shit, this is shit, this is shit. I will just help ICS make the rifle better. So if they come back, and I can make my video, and I can say, like, they changed this, this, and this to make the rifle better, because this was crap before. It is better right now. And this is how it should be, in my opinion. If you have a rifle, you're honest about what you say, or you just don't say anything.
There's no point doing it if that's the case, isn't
no.
it?
Yeah. My thing as well, if you are being paid for review, maybe a bit of transparency around that would be saying this review has been paid for. However, I'm going to try and give as unbiased an opinion as I can in this review, and just sort of be a bit sort of honest about if you are being paid for it. It's just having that bit of integrity, and just sort of being open with the end users about it.
I think it's a little bit like two-sided. Do you have to mention it that you got it? Because if I buy a rifle, I will give the same feedback about a rifle. As soon as I say, like, I got this rifle for free, that immediately people say, well, he's gonna give.
People become skeptical, don't they?
Yes. On the other hand, I believe that people should know that you got the rifle for free, but you don't have to say, like, I'm gonna give my honest opinion about it. Well, if you make a review about it, it is your honest opinion, and if it's not, you're just being a dick.
I was going to say, if you are just reviewing it well because you have been paid, and that brings into question your integrity as a reviewer and an influencer anyway. I mean, look at the MDR. You could have had the first batch of those from Silverback come out, and they'd be amazing. I was really excited for it to come out, and all I've heard now from end users is bad reviews.
But like I can't pronounce that name.
Just say eyelid.
Eyelid. Oh yeah, I remember that from the previous episode. That it is true. You have to mention if you get the rifle for free, but you don't have to say that you're gonna give an honest opinion about it. But you can. I think you should mention, like, I got this from ICS. And that's a thing that I always do. Like, I got a new package from ICS, and I'm gonna open it for you. So,
yeah, cool. Okay. There you go. Joe coming in said, "Oh my god, he fucking said it," because we got him to say eyelid. Cool. I think we've covered all these in depth now. We've done about half hour, 35 minutes on it now. So I think now's the time to get onto Airsofter.World.
That's the problem. There are so many good topics to talk about, and I think we can have a day of podcast about talking about airsoft topics, and I like doing it because I have a lot of knowledge about the things that I do, and I like sharing it. So but I will keep...
Anyway,
well, that's why we're all here. It's something we're passionate about.
Yeah.
So Airsofter.World, where did it begin? Let's go back to the very beginning of Airsofter.World, to that almost, for want of a better term, the idea that you've scribbled on the back of a bar mat of "I'm going to do this."
So I'm gonna give a brief history because it all started with skirm.be. That was the first website that we designed for Belgium, and that was back in, I think it was 2006 or something. 2008 or something. And that was we needed a platform where organizers can put their events on. That was basically it, because there was no, I don't think Facebook was already around. I can remember, but we needed a website. So we created something, and after a lot of years, that website got old and it didn't work anymore. So we were like, okay, we need something new. And a lot of people told me like, yeah, we're gonna help you build something. They didn't. So I started learning making websites by watching YouTube videos. So then I made Airsoft United, and that was basically just for Belgium because that was the place where I thought we needed help and combining all our airsoft events on one place. And it became a big database of events, locations, and everything was linked on to each other. You can also add your gameplay videos, and if you went to that location, you can see all the gameplay videos of that location. And the most important thing about that platform was that it was player driven. So people add all the stuff and people can find it, and that way the database grew. Um, and then I think 8 years later, the platform was still alive. And then Corona hit, I think. And we were like, well, maybe. And I got questions from different countries. Can we use your platform? Because they saw it was working and it was interesting. And then I said, well, why don't we make it international and everybody can use it? So then we changed it to airsofunited.com. And for a year and a half, we were changing stuff to make it internationally. So there were countries putting their locations on it, teams are going on the website, but there was no like social interaction. It was just a big database that was being built and with some cool features on it. And then I think 2 years ago now, in August, a Ukraine person contacted me on WhatsApp, and a Romanian dude saw my platform from Belgium, and he knew that we were going internationally. And right at that time that we went internationally, Airsofter.World also went internationally because Airsoft United started in 2014, and Airsofter.World was actually also running in 2014, but that was basically the same thing they did for Ukraine as we did for Belgium, but they only did it for Ukraine and we only did it for Belgium. And because we both went public and international on the same time, we grew closer and closer to each other. And one Romanian dude saw that, well, it might be interesting if you start talking to each other. So we did. We had meetings with each other. They flew to Belgium and we sat down and we looked at the values because, in my opinion, that was the most important part of this cooperation. Do we want the same thing? Because I talked with other platforms, but the only thing that they want was making money. And we want to create a community. And that was a big difference. Yes, we need money to make this platform and keep it running. But the most important thing was we want to build this for the community. We want to make ourselves bigger, stronger, and better. And we started working together for a year. We had meetings, how we're going to do it, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. There were the first changes, and then February, well, whenever Russia invaded Ukraine, that was the day we were going to launch. So that didn't happen because the war started, and people that were working at the Airsofter.World side, because I'm the only one not in Ukraine, the first thing that we did was keep your family safe, get out there, make sure that everybody's whatever, make sure that you stay alive and do whatever you need to do, because that was more important at that case. So we halted the project for a few months, and then we started slowly building it again and listening. Well, okay, everybody's safe now. What are we going to do? And slowly and steady, we start adding new features, growing, and yeah, we that's where we are right now.
Cool.
On the point.
Which brings us to the next topic of where are you now?
Perfect.
So I was going to say, yeah, I think now would be a good time actually to maybe bring it in so you can sort of go through Airsofter.World and show people what it can do and that. So, so apologies for the image here if it's not overly clear for people.
Well, I will try to explain it as good as possible, and you can have an idea. So where we are right now, we have a website running, and it is working, but we had to choose which features that we were going to prioritize. So there is a lot of possibilities because Airsofter.World was more a social platform where people could post stuff on. You have a community stuff where you can share your post, where you can like stuff, comment on it, just like you have Facebook, but this is only Airsoft. You can find friends, you have a friend list, you have a profile. And then if you combine this with the complete database that Airsoft United was, you create an enormous database where people can communicate with each other on a daily basis and find and talk about airsoft. So slowly all those things about Airsoft United are going to be brought in Airsofter.World. But because our funds are very, very limited, because the funds were coming from Ukraine shops were sponsoring this. Every organizer in Ukraine was using this platform, so a small percentage of the entrance fees was also going to the platform. Now, because there is no airsoft, well, there is actually airsoft again, which is super strange, but that's dried up, so we don't have funds to make big changes, so we have to do it very, very slowly. And that means that some parts of the website are not ready yet, because there is a marketplace. You can have a secondhand marketplace, you can have shops on it, but that's only for Ukraine right now, because also you have to think about laws where you can, for example, Belgium, you can't ship guns you can't ship guns to anybody. That's illegal. In some countries like the Netherlands, you have to have a card to have your rifles. So we have to think about all those laws. So that's why it's going to be a slow rollout for every country. It's going to be geo-locked, so some things are going to be possible in some country and it's not going to be possible in another country. Now, to be able to do that, we are in contact with 23 different countries right now that communicate with each other. And I can go over them, but they are not only Europe. We have America, we have Taiwan, China, Korea. It is crazy how many countries that we are communicating with. And we have small teams in every country that are spreading the word about Airsofter.World. And that's not only the word, it's also we are working together with the associations right now to see what we can do to build Airsoft as a bigger community, as a giant association around the world. We helped as much as possible with Canada with their fight against Bill C-21, which went quite okay, which I read today. And then we also helped with Portugal, with trying to find people and connect them to make it easier to fight laws and help actually help building communities. Because, for example, Switzerland has an amazing association for every language stuff, so they know how to build it. So instead of trying to reinvent the hot water, you can just ask Switzerland, like, how did you do it? What were your obstacles? What did you had to fight to make it happen? And then they give the answer to that country, and then they are helping each other. For example, Croatia, they needed help to build, they wanted to join a sports. Yes, John, that is correct. And that was
sorry, this was relevant to what you were saying too, and I saw it flash up, so I thought I'd better put that in there.
Yeah,
so
there we go.
The C-21 Airsoft Amendment passed, so it's no longer in danger, which is great news.
They still have a lot of work to do, but
yeah,
it is a lot better than it was yesterday. But for example, people want to have Airsoft, like it is categorized as a sport, but that's not easy because you have a lot of committees you have to work on. And Romania has that, and Croatia wants that, and they need one country in Europe or in the world that has that classification, so they can help each other to make it a sport in their country. And that is amazing, and that is because we are communicating with as many countries as we can. So that is the background behind the website, and that is not even including all the social stuff that is happening on the website. So yes, you have the website, but the website also like combines so many different elements around Airsoft, and it gives other communities a purpose to work together. So that is where we are right now. What you can do on the website right now is you can add your events on it. So there is a calendar. Let me see. Airsoft events.
For the guys watching, by the way, sorry that the image is a little bit blurry. It's we were a little bit last minute, but you get a rough idea of what we're doing here. So you can see the main bits of it. We just can't necessarily see the menus.
Yeah, I will go over them a little bit. So you can sort your events on country, world, or region. Every country has regions, and then you can filter it out, and you can see only the events in your region. Like in the future, that's going to be changed, that you can have a radius, that you can also see events in different countries, that the borders will not matter anymore. And that is where I want to go to, because I'm living close to France. I want to know which events are in France, so I can just jump in my car and I can go to closer events in France and I can go to events in Belgium. And I'm sure that more countries, for UK, I think that's not that relevant, but for countries that don't live on an island, we can cross easily through borders. Then you can subscribe to events. You have a calendar. You can sort on gaming types, which is very interesting. Like if you're Speedsoft and you only want to find Speedsoft events, you just search for Speedsoft events. You can find all the countries, all the regions, and stuff like that. So that is events. The more organizers that are on it, the more events you're going to be able to find, because that is the biggest nightmare for a player, right? Finding the event, because you have to go to a million websites to see, okay, they still have some spaces left, or they don't, or do they have an event on that weekend day? And I just get really frustrated if I want to go to an event in a weekend. I have to go to 20 Facebook pages and then go to their personal website. Oh, it's fully booked. I have to find another one. I think more people can relate to that if you're not going to the same site every time. And that is the main reason why we have the events here. Organizers can put events on it just as a like link to their page, but you can also just use the system on the website, and then it gives you some cool extra stuff, because then you can rate your event. You can see how good the event was. You also get points as a player. When you go to an event, like you can see, I have a score on the top right, 6,809. That is my score as a player. That is just if people like my blog post or whatever. That doesn't really mean anything. But if you go to an event, you get a small score. So the more you play, the better your score gets. The longer the games you do, the better your score gets. And at the end of the year, you can have a ranking of players that played most of the events, or most events in that year, and that starts again the next year, which is super fun. It doesn't really mean a thing, but then we can work together with shops and give like prizes to the first 5 players, and have a small interaction between the players. And we saw that in Ukraine.
Just people having conversations as well,
Yes,
doesn't it?
exactly. Like, oh, I need one more event this year to jump over to the second place or first place. Which event I'm gonna go? And if you mix and match between different organizers, you get more points. It's like if you always go to the same organizer, you get a little bit less points. But if you go to different organizers, you get more points. And it's a really cool system. So people try different organizers, go to different events. It's a small thing to keep the players like talking and just
broaden people's horizons as to
exactly
what other games are out there, what other modes, sites, etc. I like that idea.
It doesn't really mean a lot, but it's fun, and that is what Airsoft is all about. We don't have to take it too seriously. So everybody has a profile. That is my profile, and you can see all my posts. So basically, all what I post on all other social media, I just post it here, and then everybody can read it. They can like it. They can comment on it. There is no algorithm in this, and this is the thing that I like very, very much. You choose what you see. If you go to the community page, you just see whatever you filter on. If you want to see the stuff in your country, you're going to see the stuff in your country. You don't see ads. The only thing you see as ads is the banner at the top. That's it. There is no paid ads. There is some recommended stuff from shops, but that's it. Everything is Airsoft related. There is no interfering from Google or any other big whatever. We want to stay away from everything, and we want to keep it as Airsoft, and we want to admin and moderate it as Airsofters.
So, question from Joe. I'm getting the blame for this, but why the fuck have I not heard of this before?
Well, that's why I'm here, right?
Yeah, well, this is it. You know, at the end of the day, myself and Rob, we've spoken about it a couple of times over the last sort of 18 months, but this is sort of like really and truthfully recently is the only time we've actually sort of started talking about it in great depth, and I've actually signed up. I must admit I need to get on it a bit more. I need to set that link on my phone or something so that I can actually get on there a bit more. And
well, I must say we have a small problem with the registration this week. Right now, I can show you. We have over 10,000 accounts on it. So there are 90 Belgiums. Let me go to all countries. we right now have 10,265 airsofters on Airsofter.World. Most of them are Ukraine, but that's normal because the platform originated in Ukraine.
Yeah.
We have about
That's understandable.
500 Americans on it. Czech Republic joined in. 2 organizers are putting their events on it. And then you see the accounts like going up quite fast. And then more people start using it. So the more organizers we get on it, the more players that are going to get on it and starting to know about it. And the more players we have, the more we can go to manufacturers to say like, hey, you can buy some banner space, or can you work together in some way so we can have some more money to get some more features on the website? Because I'm not done with features at all, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. What the main idea can be with this platform, and I will not spoil it that much. But I think let me see if I talk about. Oh yeah, one thing that is coming that was on Airsoft United, and it's one thing that I really enjoy. Well, not enjoy, but I'm proud of that we can have that. The biggest problem we have if you travel to a different country, you don't know the laws, right? You can find them on a website, you can see, but you don't know. The thing is, when we work together with those countries, like those 23 countries that are communicating with each other, they are responsible to make a law page on the platform. That means that every event that you go to, there will be a link like, click on this and you can see all the laws for our country. And we don't only show them the airsoft laws, but we also show them like how to travel with your rifles, what to do with drones, RC cars, everything that is airsoft related. It's going to be in that rule book or law book actually. And that has nothing to do with how organizers set their limits. It's just what is the law in that country. For example, for Belgium, it's 7.5 joules for short barrel air guns. No organizers uses that, but if a player wants to travel through Belgium to do target shooting, for example, he can have a rifle that shoots 5 joules. But that's important for him to know what is possible. For in Germany, you're not allowed to have lights on your rifle mounted to your rifle. So if you travel through Germany and you have it in a case and your light is on it, it is an illegal weapon, or it's considered an illegal weapon. And all those things, people don't know that, and it's very difficult to find that. So we're gonna have that in a page, and if you see the event, there's gonna be like country laws. And then my wet dream about this is that if I want to go to Sweden, I can just have like like you have Google Maps, and it shows you like you have to take a ferry, you have to do this. We can do the same thing. Like you just say, I'm gonna travel from UK to Romania, and then you can see all the travel laws for every country. And it's gonna filter out because you can like sort the different laws out. You can just put them in one sheet, and then you can have it. And then you have to print it out, and you can see all the associations if you need to contact somebody, because they're gonna be all linked up in this website.
Yeah, which especially like traveling to the States from the UK as well. It's like I think it works out about £250 to take your airsoft riffs with you. Like on a flight, and that was basically for a bloke to come along, look at it, and go, "Yeah, that's an airsoft gun," and then walk it to the plane. So sort of like things like that as well. Where, like, personally, I'd say if you were doing that, just rent when you're out there, get a rental when you're there, rather than
or buy one and sell it after.
Yeah, the cheap as anything. Get a combat machine for the day.
Exactly, and those things are so important because every community in the world in airsoft, most people that have been in airsoft for a while, they notice that everybody lives in their own bubble. And breaking those bubbles is the hardest thing to do, because organizers have their people. Why should they use this platform if they have their fixed people that are coming? They don't have to use it. But me as a player, I want to know what's out there, but I'm not getting into that bubble. For UK, that's quite easy because it's English. Try going to Czech or going to Ukraine, for example, where I use like the weird letters. I have no idea where to start. And I want to go play in different countries. I want to go to Croatia to play, but I don't know. And even the laws and Spain is oof. I learned so much working on Airsoft.World about different laws, weird laws, and the more I learn about it, the more I think we really need to grow this as much as possible.
Yeah.
And that actually brought us already a little bit to the future things that we can do with this
Yeah.
platform.
So yeah, let's sort of move on to that topic now. Then the future.
Let me open up my profile. I'm just going to show one thing which I really like is you have your friend list, and if you see the friends list that I have, how many different flags that are in my friend list, it's a visual thing to show how international airsoft is. And
Yeah.
the reason that I reach out to a lot of platforms that try to do the same thing, and a lot of countries have a platform, and on our Discord server we have a list, like our admin Discord server, we have a list of all those platforms, and I try to reach out to them because most of the time it's like one guy that is so passionate about the game that he thinks, well, my country needs this. We need to have something where we can find events where we can have communities working together. But after 2 years, that dude is done because he didn't get any help. And I noticed that with a lot of platforms, they just die because the guy is just worn out, he's burned out about doing it. If we can find that person before he gets burned out and we can bring him on the platform, we say, well, look at us, look at me, I'm super enthusiastic, I'm positive, we can feed on each other's energy and we can work on something together without being burned out. Because if I have a day off, I feel like doing something, you are doing something. So if I log back on the Discord, you did something, and for me that's like, oh, that's awesome, it's moving forward, instead of pulling all the weight yourself. And that is super amazing if you have teams around the world that just do their thing and you can see movement. So I wanted to say that, like, you can see this.
Joe, have you thought about memberships to raise funds, even if it's as simple as community badges, etc., or investors from retailers, manufacturers for ads on the site?
I can go briefly in this. I had it written down to talk about it because the money
Yep.
thing is always a difficult thing for me. I'm the worst businessman in the world. I think everything should be as cheap as possible, but this costs money to develop. It costs
Yeah.
money to run. So there needs to be an income. And the first communication we had with Airsoft.World, like I had with Airsoft.World, was how are we going to pay for this? Because that was very important for me. And we actually have 4 pillars where we can get money from, and that is, I will say them in the order where you should get your money from, and not another way around where other platforms go wrong, in my opinion. Is that one, you have to talk to manufacturers to work together, work out a deal, have something going, because that's where the biggest money is. Manufacturers are like the first layer where we can talk. They can have banner space, we can work together. For example, if there is a Czech manufacturer, we can talk with them and we give 5 prizes to the 5 first people at the end of the year that went to the most events, for example. That is a partnership where you can go on. So there is,
Yeah.
it's not only money, but it's also keeping the platform going. The second pillar is shops, because that's another thing where there is money. They run shops, they can have banner space, they have money, and they are earning money. Those are businesses. The third thing is organizers themselves, because they are also businesses. Most of them are businesses that earn money, so you can have events on it. But it's not just the banner space. Like, it's, if they have a ticket system that they use on the platform, we get a small fee from every ticket, and that gets us money to make more features, optimize everything for that organizer, for all the organizers actually. And then the fourth pillar, that's the player. And that's the one that I want to keep away from as long as possible. And yes, you can have like a membership where people pay a few euros or for a few pounds or dollars for the American listeners. It's not going to be the biggest investment. And I rather have it free for the players, because we can't really give them something. We can give them a small badge to next to their name, and we all know that
Yeah.
people love their badges. So it is an option, but it should be the last option to check
Yeah.
if we need
You want
money.
to try and keep it as a community tool where the companies that the players are going to are the ones that are keeping it afloat, rather than the players having to pay for it directly. Then
Yes, exactly. For example, brands can have their own page. Like ICS has a page on it where they add their updates on it. They put posts on it about their rifles. So they have like free advertisement already. And if they want, they can have a banner on it, and then that's pay. They can pay for a banner, or they can have a partnership. So we are working on that. But like I said, I'm not the best businessman, so I'm not good in making deals. On IWA, I had good talks with big companies like Evike, ASG, and Novridge, Red Wolf. I did a lot of talking about this platform, but in the end, we need players on the platform. Not today because it's not working to register, but next week that's going to be fixed. So we need players on the platform. The more players we have, the more brands are going to be like, okay, well, we can invest in this because this is actually an easy target group for us. If we have to pay for ads on Facebook, we are not reaching the people that we want to reach. But on Airsofter.World, we're reaching 100% airsofters. And that is our biggest selling point. And that was now brief about the money. So sorry about that.
And it's fine, because the thing as well is the beauty of this is that you're not going to get zucked every 5 minutes. You're not going to suffer from Zuckerberg's sort of regime, shall we say, of you try and post anything Airsoft, we're going to ban you, we're going to restrict your accounts, and that, if it's designed for players, then it's for the players and it's for Airsoft.
That is true. Still, we have to take in mind that we also have to moderate our stuff, because it is Airsoft, and that's where I talked about the political stuff. We had a team that was called the Wagner Group, and we had no idea what to do with it, because they didn't mean, well, it's just bad luck that it's now a war with that unit, but they had that team for 5 years, and we had a discussion with Ukrainian people that were like, they said, we understand that everybody's like doing a unit, but where is the line when it is political incorrect to do that? And that discussion is still ongoing, and that is very amazing to see how airsofters can have a conversation on an adult level instead of going to a field and yell at each other. And that was very, very, very interesting to see. And we're not done with that conversation yet, because that is a very difficult conversation. But it is because of Airsofter.World that we have this conversation, because we have to think about, what do other people think about what I do? And I don't have to agree what they say, but still I can have respect for their values. And it's that line that we're now sorting out and trying to find. Another thing in the future, because that was the thing that we were talking about, is that we don't know what milsim is, right? Milsim. What is milsim? Nobody knows. Everybody says it's military simulation, but nobody has a clear idea what it is. If you have a standardized platform where events are on it, you can start having standardized icons, for example, or a standardized scale on how tough the milsim is, or what elements that are in the milsim. And one example of this is like night games. You can have a symbol on your event with a night vision that shows like there are going to be night ops. You have to go or sleep in the field, or you have to be able to run 10K with a full pack. And all those scales, you can have a simple like marking on your event. This is going to be a milsim category 2A. I don't know, like then like the 2 stands for it's not that hard physically, but A means that it's going to be sleeping in the field. And with those countries, those 23 countries, you can start making those decisions and say like, okay, we can try this, we can add this as a category in milsim. So when you go to a game, you know what to expect, because now you go to a game. I'm a milsim player, but I don't like to just sit in the ditch and watch a road. That's not my game style. But if you know that game, if you don't know that the game that you're going to is a milsim where you just have to guard the fortress for 40 hours, I'm going to get bored as hell. I'm not going to have fun. So if I know that beforehand, I'm not going to buy a ticket for that game.
Yeah.
And that is a very big miscommunication with organizers and players, that you don't you get a different expectation from what you're going to get. And it's not the organizer's fault. It's just there is no communication what game type it's going to be. Especially if it's their first game. If it's like a multiple games in a row, then you can start talking to people, but getting like trying to find those people is not easy. Like UK, simple, you can talk English, but like again, if it's a Czech game, I don't know any Czech, so I have no idea where to start. But if you have the same symbols like you have on DVDs, like it's like foul language and it's sex in it,
yeah,
and it's simple, then you know what to expect.
Yeah.
And that is, you can only have that if everybody's working together. And I know it's a utopia and it's going to be very difficult to have that, but I still have like I believe that this is something that we need if we want to get rid of all those miscommunications and problems that organizers with players have.
Cool. No, it'd be good to see that, definitely. And to get everyone on sort of the same ground and the same playing field moving forward. Oh, hang on. What I've done there. There we go. That's what I wanted. Yeah, get everyone on the same level moving forward. It'd be much more beneficial for the community as a whole.
Yeah, and that is why I put that much energy in it, and that I believe that this is something that the community really needs. And I'm a good person to do that because I've been in the game for a very long time. I have certain values which I stand very hardly by, and I'm not driven by any money business. I'm driven by community business, and I'm driven by the game and the players, and that is what I care about. So that's why I'm going to give this as much effort and energy as possible to make this happen. And that's why I'm very grateful that you wanted to have me on the show to talk about it, because this is a great opportunity to talk about this to a greater audience that don't know me.
That's awesome. And definitely it's something we can put in our team chat as well now to try and get the guys to sign up for. I'm going to get all this set up on my end as well now, so I can actually start using it a bit more, because at the end of the day, it's another platform as well to try and get, say, this show out there or something else. It's a much more focused platform, and as you said, you're not driven by the algorithm. So because we're posting about Airsoft as well, we're not going to get silenced as such.
No, exactly, and that is a very important thing. It's going to be a very difficult balance to find, like, what filter options are we going to have? Is it working? And that is something that we only going to be able to see the more the platform grows, the more problems that will occur, and then those problems need to be addressed. So it's an ongoing process.
Just tweak it as you go along, can't you?
Exactly, yeah. And I forgot to mention, we have our website now, which is the main thing that we're working on. Like I said, we have to prioritize on what we want to achieve. There is a mobile version for smartphones or tablets. It sucks. It's good to read stuff, but it's not good to post stuff. What I do on my phone, I just open the desktop version on my phone, and that works very well. There is also an app. It is not in the Google Store anymore because Google deleted it from the Google Store. The reason about that is because you have players that can add information, and then somebody else needs to be able to say, well, this is inappropriate, and that option was not available. So Google said, well, if you don't have that option, you're not allowed to be in the Play Store. The app is amazing. I still use it because I had it installed before Google deleted it. It is working. I love it. There is a ticket system. There are QR codes for organizers. If you scan it as an organizer, it's like players are immediately set as present in your game. So you don't have, you just scan players at the gate, and then you can see like, oh, I have so many players, and then those players can have a rating, and you get messages and stuff like that. It is. I love the app. It's super cool to browse through, but it is already existing. We just need to tweak it and as soon as we have funds for it, we're gonna do that.
Awesome. Awesome. It's great to see it, mate. Honestly, and it's been great to sort of follow you over the last couple of years developing this and the passion. And I can definitely say I've seen you put a lot of time and effort into it.
I did.
So
yeah,
it's been awesome to see it develop to this. As I said, I'm going to get my account sort of fully set up now because I've registered for it and not had the time to get on it. So
it is. You're not the only one, and I totally understand that because it's a new platform. People,
yeah,
for me, it's already starting to get like a habit. I open my Facebook, I open my Instagram, and I open my Airsofter.World, and then I read all the messages, my notifications, and I post some new stuff on it. It's just something new, and to get away from Facebook, that works in most cases. It is very difficult for players and organizers, but at some points they gonna, I don't know what they're gonna do with Airsoft, and it's an easy solution, and I understand why they do it, because if they have to monitor every country, what laws that are present in that country, it's impossible for them to do that, especially for one sport like Airsoft.
yeah,
But because we have this only for Airsoft, we can monitor it ourselves. We can moderate it ourselves, and we know what is allowed in every country. And then those moderators from that country only have to focus on the Airsoft part and what is the law in their country.
Yeah, that's awesome. Graham's saying great work. He did get auto corrected on your name, so he has then corrected it to the correct spelling.
Thank you. Rob is fine. I know my name is not easy, but thank you very much. I appreciate all the comments and the people that like the project. It is it's something that I hear a lot, that people think that we need this to jump on it, make an account, and start using it.
Yep, but not until next week when
not now.
Yeah.
Let me see if I got it. The developer was going to be online in 2 hours, but I didn't get a message yet. I was at 8, so around 9, that I sent them a message that we have a problem, and they're sorting it out right now.
Cool. But yeah, anyone that wants to know literally the episode name, Airsofter.World, head over to that, sign up. You'll find me on there eventually under Chairsofter. I'm just getting that all set up at the moment. In fact, it's literally opening another tab as we speak. I can show you. I've been on it while we've been talking.
It's a fun thing, and here we go. You can add pictures. You can add you can add all.
You can see I've got a 0 score, but I'm going to start adding, like, even when the episodes come out, and that I can at least put them on there now, and if somewhere I can try and share it.
Yeah, and it depends on what you share. You're gonna get a different icon next to your name. Like if you put blogs on it, it's gonna say blogger. If you have pictures, like, oh, that's actually a very fun thing that I didn't mention. The thing that people hate is you go to an event and you don't find pictures or topics about the event. If you post a blog post on Airsofter.World, you can link it to an event, and then everybody that went to that event get a notification automatically, like, oh, there is a new blog post about the event. Somebody posted pictures. There is no option to stream to it yet.
So watch this space.
Yeah, we will try to what is prioritized. We will have to prioritize what is the most important. Streaming to it is not the most important, because
I was going to say
there are better platforms that do that now. So we're gonna focus on events. That is the main focus right now, and getting that law system in place, and that is our main thing. And then we're gonna
exactly. You've got to start somewhere at the end of the day, and
yeah,
as you said, streaming isn't exactly a priority, because
there are
at the end of the day, it'd most likely just be linking it to a platform that you can already stream to anyway, wouldn't it? Rather than trying to do a dedicate.
And that is the thing. It needs to be a hub, in my opinion, where people can go through other hubs, because you're still going to use Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Like I'm still going to make my videos on YouTube, because that's the better platform to make those videos. But people finding those videos, then Airsofter.World can help a lot, because if you want to go to if you went to an event and somebody posted a video of that, you want to see that. But now, how can you know on YouTube when the new video was posted about an event. You can't. There's no way you can know that. And now it's going to be linked, and then there is if you have an event, you have a post event chat, you have a pre-event chat, and everything's going in the right discussion.
UCAPU may be worth getting in touch with in the UK for the laws and legislation. So we'll have a chat afterwards, and I'll get you in touch with them because I know a couple of the guys that are on it as well. So
well, actually, that would be awesome if those guys just join our Discord and they do the UK part.
Yeah, sorry, I am being attacked. So Haley will be happy.
I don't know where mine is. Oh, he's sleeping there. Because that is. I had a few people saying like, well, you can get in touch with those people. You can get in touch with those people. Well, you can do it. And you can just get those people on our Discord, and they can have the thing that they already know. They can just put it on the platform instead of me doing it all, because at some point I'm going to run out of time. And I'm already running out of time already. There are a lot of countries. And now, like I said, we have 23 countries that we communicate with. Not all of them are in the same like level where they are in the process of adding stuff to the platform, but it is communication line, and that is the first thing that you need. That's the first step. And for UK, we have a few players. I think I can check. I think Graham was on it. Let me check. Or I invited him on it, or we talked about it, or it was about Airsoft United. It's one of those things. Let me see. UK, we have Stip, we have GSG on it, and we have GameCam on it.
I'm going to say, GSG as well. Someone mentioned her earlier in the comments about for her sitemap and that. Helping populate that.
I had a conversation with her about it, but because of the war that happened in Ukraine, we had to not prioritize on the map. It is, you can see the map already. It is somewhere on the platform. It's just not visual. They just have to make a link to it.
every time about 9:25. Here we go. It's just you're sharing that now. Nothing's come up on that. I thought you were sharing that map.
Oh, hold on, I can.
It's all right. It just went to a white screen. I thought you were sharing the map, so I put it up. But yeah, no, it'd be great to see that.
I can create event.
Populating.
Location, create new polygon. There we go. I'm sharing it right now.
Cool.
Like you say, Ukraine has a lot of field.
Yeah. I noticed you've got a couple of pins in the UK there.
Yeah. We have, let me see, what's this? Combat Airsoft.
Oh, yeah.
And then Driffield.
Oh, yeah, HQ.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But
so what do you want now from site owners really as well? Can site owners start getting set up on here to help you populate that map?
Yes. If you're a site owner, you can do two things. We're working on a way that you can link to your own website. That is not done yet, but you can already have a workaround. So because I don't know if most site owners use Facebook to populate their events, or if they use different websites to do it. If they don't have a good system, they can use the system on Airsofter.World, and they can all the people can register, and they can just download the Excel file and see all the people that are registered for their game. That's how the checks do it right now. And then you can just add your location, like I'm doing right now. You can just add a new pin. I can see I can create new pin. Well, you have to have a name, and you can add a new location to it.
Yeah.
It is not the easiest to do. It's a little bit, you have to get used to it. We're working on that, but you can already do it. So if you're a site owner and you need help, you can always contact me, and I will lead you through it. Or I can teach the UK people, and then you can get in touch with UK people, and they can help you out.
Yeah. Did you notice how he was looking at us there, Adam?
I actually was looking at you.
Yeah, I know 100%. I want to get behind this more and more and try and help spread the word. Hence why we got you on the show as well.
Yeah. Also shops, for example, they can also help out. Just spreading the word. And if they want to get in touch, if they want to buy banner space, shops can actually have. We have one leave. Let me think. I think it's April. We have one German shop that I forgot the name of the German shop, and they have their own page now, and they post updates about their shop on Airsofter.World, and that is free advertisement. And we're gonna see how that works. If a shop starts spamming, people will have the option to just say, like, I don't want to see this shop anymore for a month or a year, or I never want to see it anymore. So that makes it the decision of the shops to not spam it, because people will be like, okay, I don't want to see this anymore, and it's their decision to make sure that they do like one post a day, or they get relevant content instead of spamming people with millions of things.
Yeah. So I was just wondering why there was clapping in the background as well, and it distracted me from your wonderful spiel there. It turned out that Cinnamon had decided he was going to try and break the headphones that Jenny's used to listen to the TV. So,
Why?
Because he likes chewing cables.
Ah.
Hence why he was going for the wires earlier when he was here. So, yeah. No, it's cool. I like I said, anything we can do here to help you out. Joe said he's on board as well. Dan Chesney dropped me a message with cost for banner spaces and a winky face. So the UK guys seem to be behind this now as well. So we'll help you spread the word as much as we can.
Yeah, you can send me a message on Facebook to Vraha Airsoft or on Instagram. You can just pop me a message, because I will probably not have you guys. It will be easier if you guys just send me a message than the other way around, I think.
Yeah.
Or you can
And
send it
if
to
people
Andy.
want to get in touch, just message me and I'll get you in touch. And we'll go from there. But awesome. No, it's been great to have you on about this. And I can't wait to see this growing. And it's exciting times ahead to see this grow for the community.
Yeah, that would be awesome. The more people learn about it, the more it's going to spread, and the better it's going to get. The more people that are on it, the more information that is going to be on it, the more funds we're going to get, and the better it's going to be.
Definitely. So, Joe's coming. What a guy. By the way, maximum effort. Love it.
Well, I try to do my best.
Yeah.
It's nice to have somebody that's so passionate.
Yeah, Joe didn't love it enough to come on the show tonight, though.
well, you know.
Well,
no, it's awesome. Right. I think it's about time we really sort of look to wrap it up there. Also, partially because I'm now heading to BZ Tactical tomorrow. And it's about a 3.5-4 hour drive for me to go to a shop opening. So,
and I can talk about this for more hours.
So yeah, where can people find you?
The most thing that I do is on my YouTube channel. I make YouTube videos about airsoft stuff as they are happening, instead of I started my YouTube channel because I hated all the things you see on YouTube about airsoft, and I wanted to show how airsoft really is. And I started making bigger milsim videos and really explaining what airsoft is and what you can use as a player. So I have my kit videos, my gear videos, and I focus a lot on that, just being me and being passionate about airsoft. And that is on YouTube as Vraha Airsoft. I'm on Instagram. I don't use it that much. It's easy to communicate with people. I'm on Facebook, and of course, I'm on Airsofter.World. You can find me there too. And if you come to Belgium and you want to play a game, let me know and hit me up. We're gonna have some good times. And I try to come to UK again. Like, we were there at National Airsoft Festival. I had an amazing time talking to a lot of people. We don't know yet if we're gonna be there next year, but I'm looking to go to UK anyway to try some sites, maybe outside of the National Airsoft Festival, to just
level 2.
Yeah. Like, National Airsoft Festival is fun to meet all the people in one place.
Yeah,
that's the only advantage that it has. And if I come to UK, I can only play on 2 sites, on Saturday and the Sunday, or I have to find one that does Friday evening opening. So Or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we can hook you up with sites. There seems to be sites that do games fairly regularly, so we can help set you up. It's not a problem.
So that would be awesome if Lisa and me can come to UK and we can be like 4 or 5 days and we have like 3-4 games and then meet some people and go to some stores and
We'll be
talk
like
about
your airsoft fixers, you know.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, we'll sort you out. Don't worry.
That would be perfect.
Cool. But yeah, no, it's been great having you on. Adam, where can people find you?
People can find me mainly on Instagram at GT_02.Sierra Golf.
Cool. And as I said at the start of the show, if you want to get in touch with the show, you can contact me, facebook.com/Chairsoftershow, Instagram at the Chairsoftershow, or email Andy at the Chairsoftershow.co.uk, and also soon when I've got it all set up, Airsofter.World.
There we go. There we go.
But no, it's been great having you on again, Rob.
Thank you for having
me. And good to talk to you. It's very much appreciated you giving up your time. And yeah, let's just hope that people can get behind this. Joe's already said I need to get BZ to sign up to it tomorrow as well, so I'll have a chat with them because I need to speak to them anyway about the podcast. I'm also hoping to film some crude footage on my phone because I've got some nice stuff out there. And we'll have a chat about that after the show. But other than that, that's it from us for this week, guys. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time, where I believe we have Matt from Ammo Drop and the Midlands Airsoft Fair coming on. Hopefully, I need to triple check that with him, so don't hold me to that. But we'll figure something out for 2 weeks' time. Yeah, that's it. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Don't be a dick, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.
Bye.